A landlord in Washington, D.C. was fined $10 million by the city for refusing to rent to Section 8 tenants. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's coming out of Washington, D.C. I've brought up Washington, D.C. a few times because it's one of the worst places to be a landlord, okay? They have so many laws, so many rules, and so many regulations in place that it makes it extremely difficult to run your business there unless you have a team of lawyers working for you, okay? And I don't know about most other small landlords, but in general, it's very, very difficult. Okay, I told you about how they have the first right of refusal law, and now they also have this law in place that makes it a requirement for landlords to rent to Section 8 tenants. Okay, you cannot turn them down according to their local law. Okay, now the program is supposed to be voluntary, so I have a big deal with this. Okay, I think that landlords should be allowed to choose who they want to rent their properties. Okay, they shouldn't be forced by the government to rent to people they don't want to rent to. So there's all these different reasons why landlords don't want to deal with Section 8. I've brought them up 100 times, but I'll bring them up again in case this is the first video you've watched of mine, okay? So one of the big reasons is that landlords don't want to have to jump through the hoops required for the Section 8 program, which include inspections, which include, certain paperwork that has to be filed. And when you're getting a tenant in there, you don't get your money immediately. You have to wait, however long until you're actually approved, when it's much, much quicker just to get a regular tenant and move them into your unit. Not only that, but Section 8 doesn't always pay the, prevailing rental rate for the area. So you might not be able to get as much rent for a Section 8 tenant as you do for a non-Section 8 tenant. So, these things combined with the fact that Section 8 tenants also have a very, very bad reputation. The reputation is that, hey, they will tear your place apart. Now, this isn't always true. I mean, as a matter of fact, I have Section 8 tenants, and my tenants are good, okay? But for the landlords who've dealt with these bad tenants, they don't want to have to deal with them again. Okay, and I don't blame any landlord for putting these rules and these stipulations on why they don't want to participate in the program. Now, my big problem is government overreach. The government telling you have to do this. You can't evict anybody. You have to take this tenant. You have to do this ABC. And I'm like, hey, we're not the public housing provider. If you want public housing, you're the government. You provide it. Don't tell a private landlord what to do with their business. Okay, that's my personal opinion. Now, everyone doesn't agree with me. They're like, well, housing is a human right. No, it's not. Okay. Housing is no more a human right than food is. And guess what? You got to pay when you go to the grocery store. So guess what? Housing is not a human right, and you need to get over yourself. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button. Maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you believe housing is a human right? Do you believe landlords should be forced to accept Section 8 tenants? And do you believe that this $10 million fine that these landlords are having to pay up in D.C., do you think that's fair? These are important questions, and I already let you know, and I'm going to continue to let you know what I think. But I want to hear from all of you who are watching this video. So let's get into the article. This article is coming from the DCist.com, and it says, D.C. real estate companies to pay Landmark $10 million fine for discriminating against voucher holders. They're not discriminating against them, right? They are making business decisions. And you know what? It boggles my mind that the federal government itself came out and said this program was voluntary, and then all these local jurisdictions came out and said, no, it's mandatory. Okay, which one is it? Which one is it? Is this a voluntary program or is it mandatory? But anyway, let's get into the article and see what it says. D.C. Attorney General Karl Racine on Thursday announced that 3 related real estate companies and its executives will pay a landmark $10 million fine for illegally discriminating against low-income renters who use housing vouchers. The fine, the largest such penalty of its type in the U.S. according to his office, comes in the wake of a 2020 lawsuit where Racine accused Darrow Management Services, Darrow Realty, and Infinity Real Estate of charging extra fees to residents with Section 8 vouchers and other housing subsidies. The lawsuit also alleged that the three related companies, which own and manage units in 15 buildings in Ward 1, 2, and 3, posted ads that specifically discriminated against voucher holders. Both actions violated the city's Human Rights Act, which prohibits discriminating against house-seeking residents based on the source of their income, and the city's consumer protection laws. So I mentioned this before, right? They call this source of income discrimination. It's not income, okay? It's not income. Otherwise, these people would be paying taxes on it, okay? I pay taxes on my income. That's why I know that this is an income. Where, as soon as you say, okay, well, we're going to give these people, let's say it's $1,000 a month, right, for a Section 8 voucher. Well, if it's income, they need to be paying taxes on that $1,000 handout. Okay, if they're not paying taxes on it, it ain't income. They're just getting a handout. They're getting a government handout. Just basically welfare, and that it's free money for them. It has nothing to do with actual income, any more than food stamps are income, okay? This is ridiculous. And I can't believe that, these cities are allowed to get away with punishing a landlord like this. Now, as I've told many landlords, okay, you have to follow the laws and the rules that are set in place in your city, because these cities, all they care about is making an example out of landlords. That's all they care about. They just want to make us look bad. And the reason this politician is doing this is because he wants votes. That's it. It has nothing to do with actually caring about people, making sure that there's plenty of affordable housing available. No. Only thing they want is votes so they can keep their jobs, okay? They don't care nothing about this stuff. And they chose an easy target, rich people or big businesses, or in this case, landlords are seen as the bad guy, and they want to punish us. Okay, and they'll come after this guy here, but guess what? That small mom and pop landlord who maybe owns a duplex and lives in one side and rents out the other, well, that guy is the person who will get punished next for this exact same law. That's why I say, don't sit here and think, this is a big, super rich landlord, they can handle it. No, because they're going to come after you next, okay? These same rules apply to you and me. Okay, and that's why we cannot allow this sort of stuff to happen. This is completely wrong. The fine is so out of whack, so crazy. They need to appeal this. They need to, why don't they just this company, we screwed up. We're going to take that out of our advertising. We'll pay a smaller fine. But $10 million, that is insane. What do they think, that we're just freaking made of money? So, my biggest gripe with all of this is, right, and maybe they have a solution to this, but where do you think this money is coming from? Okay? To me, if this city didn't have rent control and I was a landlord and I got fined that much, all my rents would go up. Or I'd sell the building, or the building would just become dilapidated, or I'd have to declare bankruptcy or something because I wouldn't be able to pay this kind of fine. This fine is ridiculous. Oh, man, it's very frustrating reading this because, they think, we got him. We got the bad guy. No, you didn't get anything. Okay, there was no additional housing, affordable housing created from the enforcement of this law. Okay, this didn't help anybody. The only thing it did was, punish this landlord. And what are you going to do with that $10 million? You're going to put it in, to fill potholes in D.C. somewhere, or maybe, provide housing to illegal aliens? Well, for real. This is such a joke, okay? And this is why I say don't invest in this sort of place. Don't go up to Washington, D.C. and, look at the appreciation there and think, this is a long-term play. We're going to make great money. No, you can go down to, the Midwest or the South and make way more money long-term and have to deal with so many less headaches. Oh, man, frustrating stuff, okay? But let me get back to this article. When implemented well, housing programs work. They assure families have a safe place to live. While most landlords accept and welcome voucher holders, far too many blatantly refuse to accept vouchers or make it incredibly difficult to rent, said Racine at a press conference. We uncovered mountains of evidence demonstrating that Darrow broke the law and illegally discriminated against residents who used vouchers. We're holding Darrow accountable, and that's why they will pay the record fine of $10 million. And the settlement goes further. Darrow has agreed to stop managing rental properties in DC and will have 18 months to hand over management responsibilities of all of its buildings to another company. Additionally, Carissa Berry, the president of Darrow Management, will have to relinquish her DC real estate license for 15 years. Attorneys for Darrow and Berry did not respond to a request for comment on the accusations nor the settlement. Well, you know what? Doing them a favor, honestly, okay? Why would you want to do business in a place like this, okay? Yeah, here's my license. You know what? You go to hell. I'm not doing anything here anymore. I'm going to go over here to one of these states where I can do my business, run my business, not have to, pick and choose who the government says I can rent to, not have to, let the government set my rental rates, not let the government decide who I can evict or not. And that's how I want to operate. And, it's absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, I would sell all my properties and get the heck out of there. That's what I would do if I was this Darrow Management. And, this is, ridiculous. Like I said, they will make an example out of these big guys, and then they will come after you as the small landlord and punish you the same way that they punish them.